In the top left, the Chess Master, one of the best Terrans in the entire world. And possibly the smartest player as well. Also a GSL caster, fun fact. It is TY. And in the bottom right, the 3-time WCS champion. The best player in the history of the United States of America. The Protoss, sponsored by Ting. It is Neeb. Spawning in the bottom right of Simulacrum. Oh, God. Every time. I pronounce it differently and wrong every single time. But I'm sure... Make sure to leave your Latin schooling in the comments, because your language is more dead than this game. And why did I assume it was Latin? Moving on. TY not going with an SCV scout or a proxy early on. Neeb 1 gate expand. Body blocking out the command center for as long as possible. We'll have to see. Now, Neeb, I think on a very good day, Neeb can take TY. And we got the home field advantage. We are playing, while we've made the server comparable, or on Western US, it's still, Neeb is playing on NA, and TY also has to. But TY is, like, he's on a single-digit list of players I think are favored against Neeb. Neeb actually lost to Zest 2-1 earlier in the qualifier. It was Protoss versus Protoss, and Zest found the most clever ways to proxy a Robo 3 games in a row. Yes, it was 2-1. But we'll have to see. Going with the Stargate opener, the tool of those who are confident enough to actually micro and multitask. The Reaper actually stayed at home. I love, like, the Reaper versus walling off the Reaper versus early gateway unit meta. Like, the little details of the scouting probe and holding on to it and waiting till the Reaper's supposed to scout across. For a while, religiously Protoss players would find a way to wall off on almost every single map, and religiously Terran players would find a way to complain on Twitter about it. Was that? Oh, there you go. Wait a second. I know what that was. Thought that was an announcement for a second. Is that... TY is... Are you gonna go back? He's getting a Cloak Banshee, but I think this is gonna play right into Neeb's hand. Adept coming in. Does... TY, because of this lack of scouting, knows nothing. Oh, he's looking for the Reaper. He's gonna kill the Reaper. That means now there's no grenade to help bounce through. He might be able to kill the Stalker. He can't get through the Stalker. Gives it a shot anyways. Neeb, the Oracle, will stay in guard because there's no way it's chasing it down. Overall, with 2 Oracles and now building Phoenixes, Neeb is incredibly well equipped to deal with Cloak Banshee. But it does depend if the Oracles are at home or not. Whoop. He turns on just the 1 Oracle, because, like your mom said, you can't just turn the lamp on and off without breaking the light bulb eventually. It does cost 25 energy to activate that pulsar beam. The Banshee's sneaking around. So, despite the fact that on paper, Neeb has what it takes to counter this, in practice, you still have to have detection. Ideally, there'd be a shield battery, but he still has the tools to shut this down. What is there to counter the Oracles? There's going to be... Well, obviously a Cyclone, some Marines. There's a lock-on. Neeb can use the high ground to break the lock. He does. Hellions are waiting for their opportunity. A Banshee's coming in. Will it pre-cloak past what could be a Phoenix? And will Neeb be here? Oh, oh, I think Neeb spotted it. Will he recall the Oracles? Yes. And he can bag and tag. Maybe not in that order. Recalls the Oracle, slaps a tag on it. Oh no, Neeb, select all army! Neeb, no! No, not this kind of mistake! Okay, the Hellions aren't coming in. I was afraid. TY is coming across. I thought the Hellions would come in at exactly that moment. They still have an opportunity. Neeb spotted him. There is still a Cloaked Banshee. It will run out of energy. I don't know if this base is vulnerable here. Neeb has a lot of units here. Yeah. Oh. The Stalkers are remaining in position. Nice force field as well. The lock-on not doing that much. All Neeb needs is a little bit extra detection here. The Banshee is nearly out of energy. And once it is... Oh, actually, TY wants to get it out of here, ideally. This is getting a little weird. Another Banshee comes in. That one's cloaked. He picks up with the Phoenix that has no HP, but he also can't really see the Banshee. An Observer just finished up, so it's on its way out. He finds a nice position to flank the Banshee, but the Banshee could... Okay, so that was a bit of a mess. At the end of the day, 3 Banshees, 2 Cyclones, 10 Marines. Neeb definitely got the better end of this. Between getting a 3rd base, maintaining most of his Stargate units. I spoke maybe too soon. Nope. Okay, I get it, but also... spotted a Banshee there. He doesn't have the energy for... Well, he does, but why waste it, right? So Neeb gets his 3rd base. He's got 10 more workers. He's looking good. He slaps a Revelation, and TY's going back. Somebody get Artosis on the phone. It's happening. He's doing it. I'm a big fan of mech and TVP, mostly because I can't micro, but I'm sure TY has different reasons. Neeb well, what did he just cancel? I'm not sure. I think he canceled the gate. He canceled a forge and is now building so many gateways. Templar Archives is on the way. I mean, it does look... No, 2 Templar Archives. That's not how that works. That's not how it works, Neeb. You can't... No. Okay, so Neeb may have... This way. His Templar are going to get double as high, bro. Why didn't the Immortals smoke weed? Because it's a gateway drug. XD. Anyway, so he's going to make sure he has a Templar Archives and a Decoy Templar Archives. And Neeb is finishing up all these gates, ideally going to smack TY before he gets his production up. The big weakness of mech is simply just a lack of units for quite a while into the game. Factories themselves cost 100 gas and take a while to build, so it slows down any potential... Ooh, that turret came out of nowhere, officer, I swear. The Observer spots this. Charge is done. Is there there's the Warp Prism. He needs some Archons. Archons take about... Oh, another turret. It's getting dangerously close to too late to do this attack against TY. Like... 1-1 is not done, but +1 is not done for Neeb. TY, oh, dun dun dun, oh, surprise! So, is it time to go? He's gonna try to bust him. TY just slap an engineering base down. He's building a wall to keep the Protoss out. Will it be good enough? The fact that this has been, like, yeah, TY is taking this incredibly seriously. The boys have been pre-pulled. Neeb is only on 69 probes, nice, but he's really leaning on this. I feel like the time has passed. This attack is no longer going to be the game changer he was hoping for. At the start, there were 3 or 4 tanks, a handful of Hellions, no wall. TY has built a fortress here, and it might not be a planetary, but it's close enough. At this point, I think it's time for Neeb to reevaluate the situation and maybe go a different direction. The opportunity is gone to attack into this army. The production is up. TY has 5 factories. I don't know. Like, Archons are good, but there's enough tanks with +1 now. Like, at some point, tanks actually kill Archons, and that's the point where you gotta give up that idea. But this charge let drop. TY's already reacting, so... TY, of course, it's customary for TY to do his best to get to 100 SCVs, and then lose 20 SCVs and build 25 more. That's a classic TY strat. Neeb drags him out of the way. The wall is helping out a lot here. The Archons can't get up the ramp. Neeb... Neeb almost killed the 4th command center. He's denying a 4th, but he still has less workers at home. So we got to ask ourselves the eternal caster question, which is, at what cost? Is Magfield Accelerator done? No. Is Neeb going to try to break this location? It's getting less and less likely. Drilling Claws is closing in on completion. 2 more robos from Neeb as he finally accepts that TY has locked this down. Meanwhile, Warp Prism with some charge lots. +2 attack is on the way. Command centers finishing up. Both sides are... Well, TY has been preparing for a while. But now this is an issue for Neeb because Neeb has... He wanted to kill him. But the time has passed. TY is going to be scouting for Stargates. Because at some point, if the mech army gets strong enough, the only thing that's going to stop you is a Sky Toss army. Like Tempest and Templar and a Mothership even, maybe. Like, TY's like, oh yeah, how many Marines can I get rid of? He no longer needs Marines in his army. He's filling in the rest of the upgrades. Neeb's making 3 Immortals at a time. Which seems low, actually, for what he's dealing with. TY has been ready to play this mech army out. He's waited. He played patient. He got the scout and locked it down. Like, it's so important not to get caught out of position. Mech is a pretty brittle army. It can be super strong in the right location, but you get caught a little bit out of position, those tanks evaporate. He's got 10 tanks, mostly because his army his SCV count is way too high. Honestly, like, TY has a real problem with making too many workers. With a mech army, you need to have that critical mass. 85, I think, is the limit of SCVs to have that critical mass. For now, I think he's okay. Meanwhile, this army, Blink is done, but you got to be careful about blunking on this. He's going to trade out some Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, the rest of the army's rotating around. It didn't want to go into sensor tower range, but TY backed off at the last second. He's really going to try to keep those tanks, well, got to do some push-ups on the other side. A Liberator finding damage. Neeb gonna shut it down, but he's down to 65 probes. He does need to keep that probe count up. Blinks in. He might be able to take out the command center, but TY has more where that came from. Some high ground vision here. Force field. Ah! Command center will not be taken out. Battle cruisers, by the way. Battle cruisers. Battle cruisers being built by TY. Oh, baby. I mean, you got to think, like, what do you do? Eventually, you need different units. Oh, my God. Where's that revelation? Where's that revelation? There it is. Those tanks are well established here. The Stalkers blink forward. No. You can't step too far. Honestly, it feels like Neeb is still trying to play around what TY is doing, whereas TY is slowly but surely working his way up to the late game army. We're looking at battle cruisers. We're looking at planetaries all over the place. We're looking at half a dozen orbitals. Full-on upgrades. He's even going for the Hyperflight Banshees. Another command center. He's playing some whack-a-mole. He gets some decent volleys with his stalkers. He's got +3 attack, but he's going to want to fill in the rest of those upgrades. Looks like this command center will actually die. So many lock-ons here. Meanwhile, Neeb took 5 more probe losses. I'm not sure if there was a Liberator somewhere out there. Archon's looking for an opportunity. This is... Okay, so the worst thing you can do here is waste... I've seen this before. Neeb really likes his Blink DTs. And who doesn't love Blink DTs? But using 16 Blink DTs to kill a planetary and then losing them all is not a very cost-efficient trade. TY, a step ahead. He scans as Stargate Command is coming online. 4 more Stargates on the way. This is a little awkward. That is a Storm Prism here. Neeb is moving in. I mean, TY is moving into position. The Oracle gets a tag, but it will go down. TY, the DTs are moving into the scan, which is not ideal. They will evaporate immediately. Those tanks are in a nice spot. Some Hyperflight Banshees and a Liberator. TY knocking a bunch of probes out, looking for a base as well. Neeb's struggling to deal with it. He's gonna lose a base here. It really does feel like Neeb is trying to play catch up to what TY's doing. TY's starting to bank money now, building 3 cruisers at a time. The Hyperflight Banshees will be shut down, but Neeb actually, if he loses this base, he's going to be knocked down into a pretty terrible spot. That War Prism is precious. The Storm Prism is so important. Neeb can break this. He can break this, but he needs to put everything in the right spot at the right time. He's going to smash the Banshees on the way across. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are you going, Neeb? He's going to give up the base. Neeb's in the middle of the map. You don't want to be in no man's land. 4 battle cruisers are coming out. That's not enough to change the tide of this battle. Enough Stalkers and Archons are involved that battle cruisers aren't going to solve all the problems. The rest of the army coming back. Neeb going to reestablish his base. He kills a planetary for his troubles. That leaves TY on 4 bases. Neeb still has 4 bases himself. He's building +1. He's got +1 shields. Honestly, shields for don't be losing Archons. Oh, God. The tanks slapping around. +3 mech weapons. Where is the Storm Prism? It's still over here. Neeb's still trying to work through this. Oh, my God. The amount of Widow Mines. The tanks aren't quite in range. High ground vision. The Cyclones on the chase from downtown. Oh, the Storms on the SCVs! Oh, 17 wiped out Neeb! Just rips through the base. What a play! And now that's real damage right there. TY down to 54 SCVs. He's got a bank, but now he has to scramble a little. Oh, picks up the... I don't know if this Prism's going to make it. It actually does. 25 SCVs, but the cruisers have been revealed. Our Tempest in production for Neeb. The sieged Prism is going to scout them. This is actually great for Neeb. That Prism gave its life, so he could build Tempest in a timely manner. Wait, what? He canceled, and then he rebuilt. Okay. I think he misclicked one. But Neeb has to bring... Stalkers will handle it for now. That's just 4 battle cruisers. A Venn diagram to spot any defenses. Meanwhile, TY coming across the map. The army supplies are dead even. What a game. Archons, Battle Cannon, pretty tough. There's a jump. He jumps the cruisers into reinforce. You like recall? He's got to recall those reinforcements to this base if he wants to hold it. I don't know. I don't know if Neeb can hold this base. I think he might have to give it up. Oh, the Archons are going the wrong way. The probes got to get out of there. Get out of there, probes. He's expanding to the other side. This is an orbital. This is TY's main. He's running out of bases. I didn't think it was possible. But Neeb crushes through the couple tanks defending. Immortals and Archons bashing through the front. TY has retaken the base to the bottom left. Both sides being battered. Neeb expanding all over the map, trying to stay mobile while building up that Tempest count. Meanwhile, TY has 8 battlecruisers, 7 tanks, 7 Cyclones. His army not looking as... The time for battlecruisers to really leverage their strength has passed a bit. Like Neeb, the battlecruisers were not revealed until the Stargates were already up, and they were revealed too early to find a good timing before Tempest. But that's still a lot of battlecruisers. We still could have that recall Tempest play. A whole bunch of bases. TY has sensor towers throughout the map, some scans across the board. That base I don't think is going to make it. The Tempests are going to have to chase the cruisers around. I wouldn't be surprised to see a mothership get involved. They do have tactical jump online. Neeb's going to be losing bases. He's got some Immortals in position to defend. He knows he's going to be... Oh, God. The probes didn't move! Oh, he spots the... He can just jump out, though. He can get some Yamatos and then jump out. And he's out of there. He jumps back home. I don't know. Neeb needs to be... He needs to be proactive here. He can't just let that happen over and over again every 80 seconds or so. There needs to be some moves made to deny TY bases. Otherwise, he's just going to keep doing that. But now he has the Tempest count. 7 Tempests. Plenty of Archons. Widowmine's finding opportunities here. Not what you want to be seeing. But there's no tactical jump. The Tempests Oh, the big tag from the Oracles. That means the Tempest can work forward on the Whittle Mines, the Cyclones, and the tanks as well. The Tempest begin the siege. When you use that tactical jump to get away, that means you don't have it to save you back at home. He's going to want to bring some Stalkers in and just blink out of the... Oh, you got to be careful about those. Thors are on the way. Thor's not a bad counter to the Tempest at all, if he can get them in high enough number. A Zealot is denying the base. The siege of Neeb has begun. There's... TY is still mining heavily. Neeb is maxed out. They're trying to keep it together. 21 minutes. It's still very unclear how this is going to go. The battlecruisers have tactical jump back up, though. Does he recall? The cruisers aren't here. The cruisers aren't here. Where are the cruisers? Neeb has to be asking himself that question. At the same time, can he break through? A lot of damage being dealt. You can't get in range of those tanks. It's far too dangerous. A whole lot of probes. Will he recall? Neeb, I don't know if base trading a Terran. We've all seen the stories. The battlecruisers are destroying Neeb's economy. Neeb is kind of all in here, but Thors are here as well. And if he loses too many Tempests, then the battlecruisers are a real danger. The Immortals bashing through the front. The battlecruisers have yet to tactical jump. Will he come back to defend the base? Neeb is crushing through the defenses. But is there enough to stop the cruisers? He warps in his last round of units. Does he jump? It all comes down to the jump. The tactical jump cooldown and how TY decides to use it. Because Neeb is down to 34 workers. What's the Tempest count? 9 Tempest. He kills the base. These +3 crew. Oh, Yamato cannons. Fires some shots, but he jumps away. Did Neeb realize? Oh, he's got a tag! He knows where the cruisers are. He's got to fight. He's got to kill. Oh, the Tempest begin the siege. And they are a lot of Yamatos already used. Anti-armor missile. Helpful if the cruisers can close the distance. The Immortals gotta... This is it. He's gotta fight. He's gotta kite the cruisers and target fire. The Immortals bashing through on the ground. Yamato cannons. The Tempest doing their absolute best. Immortals crushing. Still a lot of damage coming out. TY's cruisers are holding, but the Tempests are helping out a lot. Is there any anti-air left? What a trade on this. He's losing SCVs. The supplies are under 100. Neither really has the Oracles have to be used to help kill SCVs. Another battlecruiser is being built. The cooldown of tactical jump still a major factor in this match. Neeb building 5 probes at a time. Neeb is mining 33 to 34 workers, and Neeb just taps it out. I don't think Neeb realized how many workers he killed. It's still tough. I don't know, Neeb. I don't know if I can stand by that one. He knows the battlecruisers are still intact, and he's mining. It's a tough one because the battlecruisers I don't know. He didn't feel like he could fight it out. He did. The battlecruisers are just gonna keep doing that. They're going to keep jumping in, and they're still mules, so I definitely wouldn't put Neeb at an advantage there, but at the same time, I don't know if he realized the worker counts in that. What a game. At the same time, it can be super tilting. Like, you get to a point where it's like, am I really dying to these battlecruisers again? There's only so much to be done. But TY brings the battlecruisers through. Just not quite, like, I feel there were a couple hesitations, like, if you're gonna recall, you gotta do it as soon as possible, and you gotta be careful on the recalls as well, of course. No, we're getting into game number 2, Ephemeron. Neeb, 1 match from being knocked out. Oh no. Best of 3. Neeb versus TY. TY showing how to mech it happen. Neeb, honestly, it felt like from nearly the start, though, Neeb was playing around TY. Oh no, TY's gonna proxy Rex. But it felt like he wanted to try to kill him before the mech could really take hold. He wanted to stay on the ground army as long as possible. He only really went Tempest begrudgingly. He kept trying to counterattack instead of fight heads up, which isn't necessarily the worst plan, but... Oh, TY, you devil. You sly dog. He's building a barracks at home and building a barracks out on the map to mask it. Is he going to go Reapers at both? I doubt it, but will Neeb recognize this? It looks on, like, it's such a mind game. Oh, this, and especially, I wonder if it's partially how that last game ended. Oh, like, we'll hit him with one of these. And also, it's kind of scary to play Neeb, even though TY won, like, Neeb was pretty terrifying throughout most of that game. Does Neeb realize he's gonna see, okay, a Marine first. He's gonna go for the knee breaker build. Concussive Shell Marauders. If Neeb doesn't recognize what's happening here, he can just die, and it could be over in seconds. Like, if the first Stalker or Adept or whatever gets it... Oh, Neeb knows. Oh, I just sat up in my chair. You guys can't see me because we're professional here at IEM/ESL, but he knows. He's at least got incredibly strong suspicions. Will that be enough? He's not even getting Warp Gate. Is he going to get a Stargate here? He immediately builds a second Stalker. Oh god, that's so important. Stargate is actually the hardest of counters. Neeb has to be so suspicious right now. Like, if he gets his knees broken on these Stalkers, the shield oh my god, he goes up the ramp. What a play. Oh, he's going to see it. But the shield battery can help the trades, and there's no healing these Marauders. Oh, what a... Neeb. Okay, he knows exactly... well, at this point, yeah, it's pretty obvious. TY's going home. He's... Yeah, this ain't happening. Neeb read it like a book. He responded. He's gonna see more Marines coming out. A few SCVs. The boys! Neeb's building an Oracle. That Oracle is everything. Oh my god. There's not even enough Marines to kill the Oracle. Like, the Oracle on its own. Oh, Neeb has all the tools he needs. He's chrono boosting probes. He might... Well, he doesn't realize that this is all sorts of in. We build a second Oracle. He will. Well, hello. All right, everybody. Pull the probes! The probes must be pulled! The Stalker's got to be careful. The shield battery's helping out. The Marines, shield battery onto the Oracle. He's holding the line. The boys are dying. The Oracle trying to do as much damage as possible before it runs out of energy. The shield batteries are intact. Another Oracle is building. The pylon is being targeted. Neeb down to 2 Stalkers. A second Oracle, though, is on the way. The shield batteries are out of energy, but a second Oracle can make all the difference. He can just kill the Marines. The Stalkers got to be careful about their lives here. Using the high ground as well as possible. He's targeting down Marauders. The rest of the probes are pulled. He just has to hold. The knees on the Stalker are broken, but they're trapped. The probes hold. Neeb holds. 1-1. Oh. Neeb read it. He's like, why did you go Marine first? Why don't you have a factory? And why don't you have an expansion? Like what are you hiding? He didn't know until later it was Marauders, but he knew it was something. He knew shenanigans were afoot. So Neeb shuts it down. None of that. Get out of here with that, TY. We're going to game 3. Come on. What a defense. One more, and then he still has work to do after that. He has to face, well, whoever wins this faces Sue. We'll be following that as well. But I'm so stressed out. One to one. SCVs? Where you go? Any SCVs? No. Wait, what? Oh, you're just going past and then. Neeb held that, like, it might have felt like he was a little tilted in game one, but guess what? He held that. That's a very technical defense as well. Despite the fact it looks like, well, just build shield batteries and oracles. No. Like, if you're not on point, if you get a little out of position, or you're not chrono boosting the right things, and honestly, I was a little scared because he chrono boosted probes one time. You kind of just die. Like, that is. You can defend it. There's a very clear path to defending it, but it's a narrow one. So, near perfect by Neeb. We're on Eternal Empire, which is a defensible map. TY showing his not only interest, but also strength with that mech army composition in game one. Neeb, like, here's the thing though. I feel part of the strength of mech. Part of the strength of mech is that, oh, first Marine. A lot of players don't really have as much experience dealing with it. Like, it really felt like Neeb wanted to end the game. We're back to game one, by the way, in our reminiscing. But Neeb wanted to end the game, and he just kind of hesitated for a lot longer than I expected. It felt like he might have had the opportunity, but the timings aren't nearly as mapped out. Like, when is he getting his factories? When is he getting his third? As opposed to, with Bio, it's like, well, they have medevacs at this time, and then they have +1 at this time, and then they get a third command center at this time. It's pretty figured out. So we'll see as more and more players play mech, and I think TY is going to go Hellions again this game, so good start on that. How do Protosses react, and does it see less strength? Hellions on the way. Looks like he's got a tech lab. I hesitate to say that's for the starport, but it's probably for the starport. Both these players, I wouldn't be surprised if they defaulted back to the builds in game one. It was for the start. Wait. Huh. Okay. This is different. He's going to follow up with Marines. That doesn't preclude mech, by the way. You don't really have any other form of solid defense early on. So these Hellions, though, they might just run by the Adept. But guess what? An Oracle shows up just in time! Like, will there be even one probe killed? Neeb. Perfect defense. How fortuitous. That was, like, it doesn't get much better than that. Now, does he go for the counter kill? He's proxying a pylon, which is weird. He may be strongly suspecting mech again, and I wouldn't rule it out yet, but we'll have to see out of TY. Oh my god. Wait a second. I don't know if this pylon is for scout. It seems like this pylon is for scouting. And it's actually going to scout the... Neeb sees the Banshee. Like, there is an Oracle. Oh. Neeb can kill the Marines. The Cyclone's going to want to come back here. This is actually kind of a who's countering who situation. But come on, like, are you serious? I'm pretty sure that was to scout the Banshee, because he was already going towards a third before the Banshee showed up. Like, he had no intentions of doing some sort of attack off that pylon. Everybody dancing around the watchtower knowing that the big brother's going to show up at some point. Whoever's closer to their house is going to show up quicker. Neeb so far has been near perfect this game. The Oracles might have been able to find a little more, but this is a pretty strong attack coming out of TY. Adepts are shading across. Anything out of position are picked off by these. And he's going for... Oh, it's going to be mech. And also he's going for mag field accelerator, the upgraded anti-armor damage on those clones. The unit count for Neeb just isn't really there. Is there detection? Well, an SCV shows up, making things a little awkward. There's a bunker. He just kind of kills the SCV, so that may be a little bit mistimed there. Is Cloak done? He didn't get Cloak for the Banshee. So, Neeb. What? Neeb? No, no. Oh, okay, that wasn't ideal. He was distracted by the Liberator that brings all the Stargate units out of position. But he will kill it. Neeb loses 5 probes. And he loses those Adepts, I believe. He lost 2 of them. But he does still have this Stargate army. Is there a Widow Mine somewhere? There are 3 Cyclones and 14 Marines. It's not really enough. Like, this is such a weird amount of units right now. Oh, no. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh! That is... Oh, what a save! The quick lift! He throws the Cyclone off and saves the Oracle a split second before Magfield Accelerator. Oh, keeping that Oracle alive is super important. You need to have Revelation here against this army. You can't get caught out of position. That isn't a Cloak Banshee, but it doesn't need to be super annoying. Beautiful plays out of Neeb so far, but TY definitely finding his opportunities. Is it going to be mech? Yes. Oh, you already saw the factories. Here we go. Back to McDonald's we go. The armories begin. This time, Neeb much more decisive in his follow-up. He's got the gateways on the way, the Warp Prism, +1 charge, and he's doing it, like, the big issue in Game 1 was hesitation. He waited, TY scouted it, TY put together, like, the Berlin Wall, and Neeb eventually tried to attack through that wall, and, well, it didn't go great. All right. The engineering bay actually taken out as well. So, no turrets yet. Not that you really need turrets that badly with Cyclones. And behind this time is... Well, he's stopped building probes for a while. Neeb is only on 61 workers, but he's getting a 4th, which has the Rich Vespine Geyser. Is there a Templar Archives? There is. Neeb gonna... Right before the army moves out. Oh, the Cyclones are gonna go up to the watchtower, but surprise! Guess who's here? He can lift the clones. They react in time. There's several tanks. So, Neeb has to decide very quickly whether he's going. One way or another. He has to figure out whether this attack is going to happen. The big mistake he made in Game 1 was waiting. Like, the mech army gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Like, that's a lot of tanks. It's a nasty position to attack into. But... Okay, Neeb, what's it going to be? He's got +2. He's building probes, implying that, well, TY has built a wall here. There's a second prism. Neeb is gonna go. He's gonna try to break it. He's still building behind, but he can pick up some of these tanks potentially. He trickles through. That's not a wall. He picks up the tanks. Neeb is trying to break through. The Archons are stuck behind it. It's going. It's going. It's... well, here comes another round. The army gets in through this. Is there still a Warp Prism involved? A Warp Prism is warping in more charge lots. A bit of a... well, he reset the tank count. But my final analysis of that attack is I don't know, like on paper, it's like one of the first things you learn in StarCraft after how to use your keyboard is like, don't attack up a ramp into siege tanks. There we saw Neeb attack up a ramp into siege tanks. The thing is, it's not over. Because Neeb, like, when you reset the tank count, and he killed how many? He got 4 tanks. There's really not a good way for TY to move out on the map. But at the same time, Neeb kind of did just lose a whole lot of units. So, he can deny a 4th, but it seems we're learning the same lesson over and over again of why we don't attack up a ramp into siege tanks. TY spots these bases. He's already sending out a Liberator in order to keep things, well, keep Neeb busy, ideally. Thankfully, that cannon's finishing at, like, the perfect time. We'll Neeb reposition the Liberator. He's just going to kill probes. Some charge lots coming in. That Warp Prism probably not long for this world. Widow Mines, I don't know, Neeb, like, how many times do we have to learn this lesson? Okay, so this... Don't you dare finish that command center. The SCV says, you're not my real dad. Neeb's still really trying to figure out how to deal with all this. The Warp Prism heading towards the main. I don't think it's going to make it. But meanwhile, oh my god, that's so many Widow Beams! Oh no! And they have drilling claws! He can't even see them! Where's the observer? Does he have an observer? Oh, if he could kill these Widow Mines, that might be something. He really, the observer is scrambling across. The observer has become the most important unit in the army. Oh god, he's got to kill those Widow Mines. Oh no. Like, it's a little late now. They've recharged. Don't blink on him. Neeb just really struggling against the mech. He blinks to the side. He's going to finally kill the mines, but they get a second volley. More charge lots working their way through. Neeb trying to bash in. The Widow Mines work both ways. This is a scorched earth policy out of Neeb. He's got to get rid of the mines. Bring the observer. Bring the observer, the prism, the scans. Neeb is determined to lose as many units as possible in this match. He has a decent economy back. He's like going mass blink stalker against mech. The Widow Mines are getting a big return on investment. The observer, the real MVP here, to be honest. That's a lot of Widow Mines. He's got 11 Widow Mines now, and only 2 tanks, so this game is getting weird. Oh, the barracks will never escape. A scan. He does get a lock on an observer. Neeb is going for +3, but at the same time, TY's opting for his 2-2. What's in here? Like, Neeb has gone with less and less expensive units, not more as time goes on. A few Widow Mines. No, no! Oh no, they're scuttling! I hate it when they scuttle! Oh no, the Warp Prism just knocked out of the sky. The Widow Mines at the 5th base. Neeb, no reaction! That's a lot of damage. And the thing is, there's no response right now. Like, Neeb doesn't have a huge amount of probes. He recalls an observer. And some stalkers. I was assuming there was an observer. I wasn't sure about the stalkers. Like, what's the plan, Neeb? What's the plan? It just feels like TY is stabilizing slowly, yes, but at some point, TY will stabilize with the upgrades, and Neeb is still scrambling around the map. Oh, oh my god. Widow Mines are the devil. He's even on supply, but the army value is not incredible. Like, that is not a... It's getting worse and worse. Like, this... Liberators don't have range. I don't think he has a fusion core yet. Neeb is flailing around the map. Just... If TY's a little out of position, then maybe something can happen, but... Neeb going around the top. The scan's chasing him down. SCV is vulnerable. Okay, so this is something, but at the same time... The entire mobile ground army shows up to the party. The Chargelet's doing okay. Widow Mines will burrow. Colossi are here. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to play out. You could lock onto it pretty easy. The Widow Mines trying to close in. Most of Neeb's army. We're maxed out, but the armies are distributed in such a weird manner. Meanwhile, Liberator trying its best. 8 more SCVs go down, but TY has plenty of orbitals, as evidenced by the constant scans. Neeb, blink, wait. All right. +3 is done. No more upgrades for Neeb besides his extended thermal lance. Oh, some tanks taking pot shots. Oh, he might have an opportunity. What is going on? Neeb is coming. Who's flanking who? It is incredibly unclear. Part of Neeb's army is bitten off, but here comes the cavalry. The Widow Mines will be taken out. Neeb found an opportunity. He might have found a weak point. He has to pull back if the tanks are on top of this, but I don't know, Cub. But Neeb, that was a good fight. That was a good fight. Don't waste it. Don't waste it, Neeb. I'm sorry. Oh. That's a lot of tanks. Gonna want some Archons or something. Do you agree, Neeb? And does he even have Storm? No. Neeb is waiting for TY to make a mistake, and while rare is still possible, 3-3 is on the way. Neeb still just +3 attack. He's kind of glass cannon in this game by the seat of his Protoss pants. Why are those Templar? Still no fusion core from TY. This base is already on the move. The tanks will siege. There's going to be a lot of damage from them if the Stalkers get too close. Neeb, get out of there. Like, Neeb has potential here, but, like, TY's maxed out. All he has to do is get everything together, and if Neeb's a little out of position, like, Neeb's not going to win 2 fights. He might win 1, but he's not going to win 2. So he has to make sure that 1 fight is the difference. Oh god, it's a planetary. Neeb, do you know what a planetary does? It makes things bad for everyone involved except for the Terran. So that leaves just 1 person. Anyways, 3-3 is about to finish on this mech. Those tanks and Hellbats, like, Hellbats are not gonna die. Neeb has no transit. Oh, he jumped! The tanks were unsieged! They were unsieged! All of them! All of the tanks! Why were they all unsieged? And just before 3-3 finishes, Neeb jumps it. He's got to get out from underneath those Liberators. So do the Colossi. Step away! Step away from the Liberators. There's a Stalker on the high ground. Neeb wins a fight. He's going for the planetary. He's got to try to kill... Oh my god, Neeb. Neeb. How many units are going to die to a planet? Just kill the... Ah! Neeb! Either kill it or don't! Oh my god! Sitting here staring at a planetary like this is a plan. No, those are +3. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is not getting better. Like, he won 1 fight, but he's not going to win 2. TY made a critical mistake in having his tanks on siege. He's scanning for extra bases. He knows if he just pushes the right location, if he just, like... Neeb has been all over TY, but TY just has to win a single fight. If he just wins a fight on Neeb's side of the map, Neeb isn't, like, this army will never come back from it. Neeb's army cannot be rebuilt. So many tanks. Like, how many Liberators? There are only 2 Liberators, so that's not everything yet. Neeb really needs to split his army to attack from more than 1 angle. That is insanely important right now. Because there's something called splash damage, and for once, the Terran is the one who has it. Neeb is just kind of rambling in. Neeb, what? Neeb, what? Are Archons that good? Like, okay. Maybe. That actually went okay. Neeb is transferring probes to bases that are about to be under attack. A scan catches the army retreating. Oh, that's 28 probes. Oh god. Oh, are we gonna base trade a Terran? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my god. Oh my god. What is... That's a planetary, Neeb. Oh, the probes. The probes. Don't fight! Oh, Jesus Christ, probe. Neeb hates his probes. This is what we've learned here today. At the very least, we've learned Neeb is a probe killing a power... Oh, well, TY hates his SCVs as well. That's a lot of tanks. No, walk away. Walk away from the tanks. This is Neeb. He's like a loving Rottweiler who just wants love from siege tanks. It's like, I just want you to pet me, siege tanks. Why won't you pay attention to me? Please pay attention. Please, please, siege tanks. Like, it feels like the hammer's gonna drop at some point. The hammer has already dropped a few times, but not quite enough for... Like, Neeb's army is still intact. Oh, the lock-on... He could lock onto the last side as well. Like, those are 3/3 clones. They have a lot of armor. Neeb is now expanding to the left side, the other side of the map, which is mostly unexplored. He's playing like a Zerg right now with his units. Neeb has lost 7,000 more units, but TY's actually lost more gas, which is super interesting. I guess tanks are pretty gas heavy. Neeb gonna try to hold on to this base. I think that's a temporary move. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my god! Each tank hit. This base is gone. This base is... Yeah, this ain't happening. Neeb, hold position. Like, every second of mining, I guess, is important. Neeb's gonna show up. Surprise, everyone! Love me, siege tanks! What are you doing, Neeb? I guess Archons are decent. Or are they? I don't know. Neeb needs to figure out what he's doing with his life. But I've said this the entire game. Jesus, Neeb is all over the place. In every sense. Like, will there be lock-ons to the Prism here? The Archons are doing really well against the Hellions. But the tanks are just tanks. But Archons, meanwhile, Neeb is charge lots on tank. Like, it's... and it all comes apart. It felt like there were a bunch of flaming swords in the air that Neeb was trying to juggle, almost literally when it comes to Hellbats. And when they all start dropping, oh, TY makes it through. TY versus Sue is up next. We're gonna watch that. That was quite a series. Neeb opting for a more fast and loose strategy. And TY eventually stabilizing and finding the game-winning fight. It just really feels like Neeb is not comfortable with that mech play. That much is... It feels pretty clear. Which is unfortunate. So, will we see? Next up is Sue versus TY.